videos reacting to that, because why not? You know what I mean? Why the heck not? But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So today we got Spider-Man Brand New Day, post-credit scene and ending explained. Spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this shit, bro. Cause I definitely watched it and I definitely wanna understand what the fuck was happening. Cause yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I watched the shit. I watched it. I was so hyped. I'm not gonna lie. I was making fun of the people walking out. The credits started rolling. I was making fun of the people walking out, and I'm just like, oh, they're about to miss some peak shit, bro. And I watched it, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's somebody who's more deep in knows what's going on. But me personally, I don't know what the fuck going on, bro. I don't know what the fuck going on. I seen some fucking shit where it's like Spider-Man, other universe Spider-Man coming back. So like I don't nothing, nada. I don't know what the fuck going on. But nah, bro, here we go. Let's get into it. It was released. When was this shit released? This shit was released 6 days ago. So it's recent. So let's do it. Let's watch it.
Just saw Spider-Man Brand New Day and its post-credit scene and wondering what the hell it means? Well, you've come to the right place in your AMC lobby. Yes, I can see you through your phone. I'm Eric Voss of the New Rockstars channel, and this is an explanation of the ending, post-credit scene, and big reveal of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Spoilers ahead in this video. Please stop watching until you have seen the movie. I'm going to be spoiling both what happens in the main movie's runtime and the post-credit scene that sets up future Marvel titles. Before I get into all this, yes, I am wearing our Who's Who design available at our merch store, nerdriot.shop. Huge thanks to our viewer, Natty Ninja, who got this shirt for himself and his family. We always love it when our viewers post selfies wearing our gear and tag us. You do it too, and we'll shout you out. Okay, one final spoiler warning for both the post-credit scene and the movie. Actually, if you just want to get to the post-credit scene, you can skip to the next chapter. All right, yes, Sadie Sink does play Jean Grey in this movie. Thanks for spoiling it 4 days.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. I'm not gonna skip through it, but cause I love this movie so much. I don't mind hearing this guy talk about it. I can't lie to you. This guy, bro, he's been popping up on my homepage a lot, and I'm not gonna lie. He does a good job. He does a good job of explaining what he explains. So we're watching the whole thing, bro. We're not skipping nothing.
And it's clear that Ryan Reynolds was fully aware of this, trolling Marvel's Hall H panel wearing a literal gray jean denim outfit with a specific gray color tone that was coded Jean Grey. We all assume this is the case going into the movie, and the movie does reveal it. But she's initially introduced as just a mystery telepath, possessing random people in order to break into DODC facilities, seeking something she calls VMAX. Peter investigates this with the help of Detective DeWolf and Yelena Belova in her bathhouse office. When this telepath tries to break into Peter's mind, the memory of Aunt May from right after May found out Peter was Spider-Man, which was the final scene of Spider-Man Homecoming, causes Peter's emotions to spike. That, plus learning MJ has a new boyfriend, triggers a kind of spider puberty where Peter's arachnid DNA takes over, he gets heightened senses and strength, and gets organic webbing coming out of his wrists, causing him to chaotically spew webbing everywhere, like a far messier version of Peter 2 that we saw in the first Spider-Man movies. Terrified of this monstrous form he's becoming, Peter goes to Bruce Banner to ask how to suppress his DNA, something Bruce warns Peter about as being unnatural if used universally. The telepath figures out who Peter is and tells him to stay out of her way. Peter figures out this telepath needs to be within a certain range to jump into her next body, so he ends up stranding her in a webbed up helicopter. But the telepath gets into MJ's mind and tricks Peter into kissing her and nearly kills.
Yo, bro, watching that shit live, I felt it, bro. I felt it. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, that is so fucking evil, bro. That is so evil. I can't lie. Off topic. This is crazy off topic. Still to do with the movie, but like off topic of this video. I almost cried 3 times during this movie, bro. 3 times. They got it, bro. Call me a bitch. Call me a wimp. Call me a crybaby. I cry during these movies, man. I do. They hit especially in the theaters. In the theaters, it's like heightened senses,
kills
bro. It's
MJ by
awful.
dropping her off of a building. Peter has to hide MJ on Frank Castle, Punisher's boat, and it's here where Spider-Man and MJ research DODC files and facial scans to realize that this telepath's name is Jean Elaine Grey. Jean got the middle name of Elaine from her mother Elaine Grey, whom we learn about in flashbacks abandoned Jean and her older sister Sarah, played in this movie by Olivia Booth Ford, due to these girls' telepathic mutant abilities. Sarah had gotten detained by the DODC and saved Jean by possessing her to make her sister run away and hide. Sarah wore a green and yellow hair scrunchie, the colors of Jean Grey's Marvel Girl costume. So, just to back up here, Jean Grey is a key member of the X-Men, played by Famke Janssen in the earlier X-Men films and by Sophie Turner in the First Class era. Originally going by the moniker Marvel Girl in the comics, Jean is an Omega-level mutant with God-level psionic powers and a host to the Cosmic Phoenix Force capable of reality warping. She later marries Scott Summers, Cyclops, and becomes part of a very complex family tree as her clone Madeline Pryor bears Scott the son Nathan Summers, aka Cable, while Jean later reunites with Scott and bears the daughter Rachel Summers. Jean Grey is established as having an older sister named Sarah in 1980's Uncanny X-Men number 136. Sarah does have some latent mental mutant powers like her sister Jean does that helps her resist the phalanx in the issue when she dies. And according to this 2014 CBR article, Chris Claremont planned that Sarah would be a mutant with the ability to activate latent powers in other mutants, as she kind of does for her sister Jean in this movie by training her. So pulling Jean Grey and her sister Sarah specifically.
I don't know shit about the comic books. Absolutely nothing. So this, when I'm hearing all this shit, bro, it's a lot of blah blah blah. Jean Grey, blah blah blah. Omega. I don't even know what Omega means. I assume she's super powerful. She got like the what do you call it? Phoenix Force. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds tough. So Marvel already introduced this girl. I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more of it for sure.
With details from the Chris Claremont era is another clue of Marvel Studios' X-Men plan. Really just pulling the best storylines and melodramatic soap opera drama from the Chris Claremont era, from the late 70s through the early 90s. No explanation is given in this movie as to the genetic origin of Jean Grey in the 616 universe of the MCU. This universe does already have some characters called mutants like Kamala Khan and Namor, but this film does not use the term X-Men or mutant, and even though it's a co-production with Marvel Studios, I do wonder if there was just some rights issues tangled up with Sony being able to use those terms. Instead, this movie just kind of uses the term special. Jean in this movie is suggested to have not just telepathic and mind control abilities, but the power to manipulate reality around her that she and her sister were born with. Marvel did not in this movie explain why mutants are only now suddenly appearing in the MCU. We may have to wait until the X-Men movie for that answer. It could just be an issue of natural evolution or something triggered by the release of gamma radiation from Thanos' snapping of the Infinity Stones. Cindy Moon does appear in the lecture hall in this movie asking Professor Bruce Banner about snap logic. We are expecting Marvel Studios to announce their X-Men cast and plans perhaps at D23 in August. What's crazy though is that Jean does commit murder in this movie, both attempted murder by trying to throw people off of buildings and walking one man directly into traffic and getting wiped out by a taxi. And yes, she does.
Okay, that happened, but did he die though? Or what? He was an old dude though. I can't lie. I was in my head. I'm like, yo, no way he died, right? He just got hit by a car, right? He might have, you know what I mean? And it wasn't even like one of them big ass trucks. It was definitely like a fucking sedan, you know what I mean? Like a Tesla. He got smacked by a Tesla. A couple broken bones for sure, but death, I don't know. He was an old dude though, so maybe his lifespan, you know, he wasn't at full HP because you know his hip or back or something, but. Definitely a pretty penny hospital bill she put that man through. Spider-Man didn't do shit, bro. He just swung by. He didn't even care.
Hijack MJ's body to cruelly trick Peter into kissing her, which really is assault in two ways. And this is all before Jean knows that her sister is dead. So I won't be surprised if some part of the Phoenix Force is already inhabiting Jean. Like, she is certainly entering the MCU from a very dark place. But getting back to the plot, Peter and Frank Castle.
Okay, I don't know what the Phoenix Force is, but it sounds sick as fuck. So I'm gonna need y'all to let me know. Let me know what it means, cause I have no idea, bro.
will go to stop Jean from breaking into the DODC HQ vault tower and to try to put the inhibitor chip on her, but they realize that she has inhabited Bruce Banner and turned him into his Smart Hulk form by breaking his inhibitor bracelet. Then Jean inhabits Frank, and Banner hulks out to his bigger original Savage Hulk form, leading to the coolest fight of the movie, but Savage Hulk resists killing Peter, and Peter's able to get the chip on Jean to suppress her powers and break her control of Frank so the DODC can arrest her. She had mentioned looking for someone named Sarah, a name that Peter later realizes Metzger totally lied to him about, so Peter realizes he has to go rescue Jean. And Jean realized that the VMAX that her sister messaged to her was actually Vent Max on the AC vent over her head in the containment cell, meaning the DOD.
Yo, that, I didn't cry at this part. I almost cried at this part. But that was a crazy, that realization, bro. I'm like, oh, that's VMAX. Oh, what the fuck is it? Like, we're finding out what it is. What is it? And then just for it just to be Vince Max, yo, I would have been pissed too, bro. I would have awakened in my power too, my mutant power too. I would have.
DODC already experimented on and killed her sister Sarah before Jean was put in a cell. The DODC's goal is to get a scan of these powerful telepaths' brains to replicate that telepathy in the mind of another person that they can control. Meanwhile, Peter fights his way into the DODC facility through the Ninjas of the Hand, who are bizarrely working for the DODC.
Another beautiful fight. I think every fight in this movie was amazing. I don't have no complaints about it. This shit right here, I think this was the best fight. That him versus Hulk, that was a funny fight. That was a good fight. But this one was just like, it was one of them ones where I'm surprised he didn't say this one was the best. I think this was the best fight.
See, in this movie, Peter
opinion.
removes his inhibitor chip, allowing his natural spider puberty to take effect, and declares that he can be both Peter Parker and Spider-Man, as he non-lethally wrecks the hand that are being controlled by Jean in this moment. The repeated experiments on Jean's brain results in her expanding her powers, as the tech working with Bill Metzger says her brainwaves are somehow affecting the objects around her. Jean blasts her psionic waves across the city out from Roosevelt Island, possessing the minds of most of the New York area and freezing them in place. Peter appeals to Jean by letting her inhabit his mind, and we return into that bedroom memory with Aunt May. And now Jean takes Peter's place on the bed, as Aunt May tells her that there will be people who do monstrous things to her because she's special, but she wants her to know that she's beautiful and that there will be people who love her, not because she's special, but because you're you. In this beautiful way, the film shows how the light inside of Peter Parker really comes from Aunt May, and that light will be needed to make every MCU mutant from here forward feel less alone. Frank Castle fires a sniper rifle bullet at Jean, and Peter steps in front of the bullet. Jean uses...
That right there was the second time I almost cried in this movie. The first time is when MJ was like, I don't even know you, I don't love you. That shit hit, man. It hit, bro. It hit. Hearing somebody say they don't love you, yo, bro, that right in the soft spot, man. I can't lie. That I was tearing up for my mans. I was. And this right here, bro, they really paint the picture like he was going to die, right? That's the second time. The third time is when he looked out the window and the whole New York was there, Spider-Man up, yo. Oh my God, bro. That was chills and tears, man.
Her reality warping powers to keep Peter from dying, and he recovers in the hospital. Bill Metzger is still missing, and the DODC is being investigated for their human experiments. Though it sounds like Bill Metzger, as he is an anti-mutant figure in the Marvel Comics, will be kind of leading the charge of hunting down mutants in the MCU in the Mutant Saga, kind of like a William Stryker figure. Meanwhile, Jean Grey takes the bus out of town to someplace that looks upstate, perhaps Westchester County, where an Xavier Institute might be waiting for her. Peter ends this movie no longer hoping for MJ's love, as she had told him that the version of her who loved him is gone after the memory wipe, and instead he reforges his friendship and memories with Ned by doing their iconic handshake. And the fact that this is how the movie ends could explain everything about this mysterious post-credit scene. We know that after a big movie like Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out and you want answers, you come to New Rockstars because you know you can trust us. Trusting the sources you get your news from is important, but it's not always so easy. That's why we like Straight Arrow. With Straight Arrow, it's easy to kickstart your weekday mornings with fact-driven news or dive deep into the topics that matter to you. They are the best source I've found for getting past me.
I ain't
to
gonna lie.
trustworthy
I
journalism.
fuck with this
There
dude.
is one post-credit scene. We see Ned's
We're gonna skip
Spidey
that.
Tracker app that he had been using throughout the movie to track the locations of Spider-Man. We see a pin on a block in Queens, and the app's voice says, "New Spider-Man sighting, location unknown." It continues repeating that as the screen zooms out from this digital version of Earth, keeping that pin of our Spider-Man's location on that same block in Queens, but then the screen moves past the moon as foreboding music plays, and there's a red-tinted glitch on the screen, and then a multicolored glitch, and then a new pin appears floating in the stars, and we hear that voice say, "Location found," and the pin.
Let me tell you what I thought in the theaters. What I thought that meant was we gonna see a Venom, we gonna see a Black Spider-Man, right? Mind you, cause what I see is that Venom comes from outer space, right? Venom's is an alien. I don't know why. Thinking back on that now, this is fresh out the movie. My brain is like, I want to see this man Tom Holland in a symbiote suit. I want to see. I'm like fiending for it now, right? So it's like this is what I want. This is what I want. Like that's just what I want to see, bro. I just want to see him in that symbiote suit, looking nice. So that's my first thought. But after seeing some TikToks about it, I I could see that I'm an idiot. I'm gonna say it. I'm dumb. That's not what. At least that's not what I think it's like none, no percent. Cause there's like a Venom movie. I seen the first Venom movie. I didn't really see the second one, right? Or if there's a third one, I didn't see the third one. So I know I'm wrong in this aspect, sadly, but it was hype to see with my theory brain cracking,
And continues to
crack-a-lacking.
beep more rapidly. And then on screen, Spider-Man will return, but
was
it
hype.
does not say where or when or which Spider-Man. So what does this mean? I see three explanations, and
Talk
they
to
all
me.
have to do with the events of Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, which will feature Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom in an adaptation of Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out and Secret Wars storyline, in which incursions, aka rifts between realities in the multiverse, cause alternate Earths to collide with each other in space. As of the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, those alternate Earths are already appearing in space in the proximity of our planet. And in the Doomsday trailer, we can see these Marvel heroes from different realities all fretting about these three Earths being on a collision course with each other. Doom's plan seems to be to use these broken fragments of these three Earths to piece together a new world that he will call Battle World. As of this taping, Tom Holland has not yet been confirmed to appear in Avengers Doomsday, but he is expected to appear at least in Secret Wars, if not also in the movie before it. Meanwhile, Sadie Sink's Jean Grey has been confirmed to return in Avengers Secret Wars. So what is this Spidey tracker telling us? Theory 1. Our Peter Parker got abducted via Doctor Doom's magic and teleported into Battle World as it is forming in space near our Earth. Note that throughout the movie, the tracker does leave pins for past locations as it identifies new locations. So this could suggest that Peter has teleported from Queens to this newly forming Battle World, and he will return either at the end of Doomsday or in Secret Wars. Theory 2. The glitching on this screen does remind me of the recurring glitching effect of Sony's animated Spider-Verse franchise. Brand New Day is, after all, a Sony movie, and maybe they're setting up their next Spider-Man release, June 2027, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. And what we see here on the Spidey track
Wait, when does it come out? Hold on.
release, June 2027, Spider-Man Beyond.
In June, we seen that too. We gonna see that too. I report back. Talk to me in June. Catch it back up with me in June. You're gonna see this.
On the Spider-Verse. And what we see here on the Spidey tracker could be one of the countless spider variants who arrived in this universe somewhere in space. Theory number 3. This is the theory I like the best. Ned's tracker has located another Peter from another Earth, and that Earth has now appeared in nearby space, approaching via an incursion. Remember, Spider-Man No Way Home established that Ned Leeds has some sorcerer abilities. He was able to operate a sling ring portal with no training, and he opened that portal to 2 other Peters. At the end of this movie, the memory wipe spell seems to drop based on the muscle memory of a handshake. When for MJ, even reading Peter's full letter to her did not refill her mind with any actual memories. Ned, based on the look on his face, does seem to fully remember Peter in this final shot. That could be his sorcery breaking through Doctor Strange's spell. So maybe his Spidey tracker is able to track when another Peter has returned in the proximity of this planet. This other Peter could be a variant of Tom Holland's Peter, maybe one who has a black suit from a Venom symbiote, or
I'll be happy with that. I would. I would love that. I wouldn't mind that. I would. I don't know. I think it would be cool if I seen that on Big Boy Tom himself. But another version of Tom, I wouldn't. I wouldn't mind that. You know what I mean? I feel like that's cool. That's cool. I'll be happy with that. I think. Um, but if let's say that did happen, I think I want them to fight. I feel like they would fight, but I would also want them to work together for something. It's like, oh, we the same person. Oh, let's work together. We're both Spider Man, right? And then, oh wait, this Spider Man is kind of not like the rest of us, you know. And then they fight, and it's gonna be a beautiful fight scene. I wouldn't mind that. I would love that.
Or it could be the return of Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker from Earth 96283. I only bring this up because there was a rumored Doomsday plot leak that I initially wrote off as just bogus until certain Doomsday plot elements initially described in that leak, like Loki's TVA card and Latvian witches, started to get confirmed in real life. And I won't go into the details of it, but that leak does describe an opening scene that involves the X-Men of Earth 10005 that we know will be in this movie and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from Earth 96283. In fact, it's so widely believed by the fan base now that at San Diego Comic-Con, when Marvel Studios Hall H panel began with an opening montage of past films, a particular shot of Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man No Way Home got the biggest reaction. Such a reaction that the press kept bringing it up to the creatives on the press line. Ned Leeds opened a portal to Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker before. It stands to reason his tech could identify Tobey's return to the proximity of our Earth in space. So yeah, Jean Grey will return in Secret Wars. But what is the MCU's plan for her character? Is this franchise gonna first establish her at an Xavier Institute in this universe? Or will it wait to destroy this Earth and just terraform it as part of Battleworld along with chunks of other Earths so that Jean Grey can meet mutants from other realities and be part of a new lineup of X-Men in a restored 616 universe after Secret Wars? Like, Avengers Doomsday is the next movie. We're running out of time. We will dig more into these questions in future videos, starting with our massive Easter egg breakdown coming to the channel tomorrow. Comment.
Yo, bro, I am so hyped for Doomsday. Like, I didn't even watch everything in between. Fucking, actually, I'm pretty sure I watched all the movies in between Endgame and Doomsday, but not really the show. I didn't watch any of the shows. Who am I kidding, bro? I didn't watch none of the shows, man. Wait, no, I did. I think I watched Iron Fist. I either watched it or I watched somebody break down the whole show. Right? It was one or the other. I think I watched it, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, nah, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. We go. It's that nerd shit, bro. I love the nerd shit, bro. I love the anime. I love the nerd shit. So can't lie, bro. Sign me up for that hoe.